It's an honor to be back again. How many of you were here last time we were here? I don't recognize many of you, so let me see your hands if you were here last time. We were here? Okay, good. All right. And everybody else was either
in the class or not here.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you're here today. So Andy is one of our rising stars who's a graduate of the program here, and what an extraordinary school this is. What a great program you've chosen to be in. We fell in love with it the last time. We love Andy. If you know him, he's a great guy, and we're blessed to have him. My name is Robert Dalella. I'm from the Salons, Robert of Philadelphia Salons. We have 3 locations, 1 in Bonita Springs and 2 in Naples. We've been in business since 1980. Our salons opened up, I think Aveda was 78. Yeah. Paul Mitchell was 80, and our salons were 1980 as well. We have a staff of about 60. We see about 450 guests a week between our 3 locations. Our average ticket is about $165. We have an associate program, which is like a master's degree of hair. It's a program for recent graduates to come into, where we give you a master's degree. You get to a certain level here, and then it brings you to the next level of hair. So we're considered an upscale salon, so our pricing is higher, on the higher end. We're in higher rent areas where it costs more to have a salon. We're employee-based, so everyone is a employee of the salon and of the business. And I guess I have people here on our team who could tell you a little bit more about what we're about, and then get some questions answered for you, tell you a little bit about us, tell you a little bit about what the real world is like, and also open an invitation to you to come and hang out and shadow in our salons. Whether you want to work there or not is irrelevant. It's okay if you do, but it's also to give you some in-salon experience, to come and hang with a stylist and get some real-world experience learning from a stylist side by side. So I'm going to introduce you to some of our team here. So first I'll introduce Jen right here, who is not only one of our master stylists, but she's also an educator. She was an educator in this building before, right? Yep. Sun State, when it was another school. Yep. Also at Paul Mitchell. She runs our internal associate program, so she's responsible for turning out extraordinary stylists. So she has a heart of a teacher, and she's a master stylist, so she brings both. So she knows the spaces you've all been through and knows how to pick up right where you left off and then get you to the next level. We have classes every Monday that Jen leads and is also support and responsible for turning out great stylists. So I wanted her to come visit because I said there's this great program, this great school that you have to come check out with me. I want you to meet these educators and see the facility and just feel the vibe in the school. So this is Jen, and she's she's somebody who I look up to. She's like my boss, I kind of look at it like, because she leads the way for our company. And is really critical in the foundation of our company to making sure we grow and take care of people the way we do. Anything you want to add?
I'm just super excited to be here. The last time I was in here was before renovations. So that for me was like a wow to walk into. And then to feel the vibe in here today, which is totally different than the last time I walked in this building. It's pretty awesome. So I'm excited to hear what's going on with you guys and share whatever we can to add value to your education today. So thanks for having us.
Yeah. Next in line is Sam, who's another one of our rising stars in our program. She's risen. Went through our program probably faster than many have ever done so, but she's also completely surrendered to whatever Jen has coached her into doing, she does, and because of that, she's become wildly successful. She has a higher than 60% pre-book rate for a classic stylist, which is very high to happen so early in her career. Her retail per guest, or which, I don't know, what do you call it here? Retail? Yeah, is one of the highest for her level. She just the work she puts out, the relationship she builds with guests is extraordinary. It's an example for many others to follow because she's really gifted at taking care of people. She's nurturing and loving and great with people. So I wanted to get her up here to have you meet with her or say hello and get to know who she is, because if you come and shadow, you'll get to shadow with her and some of her coworkers in our salons too. So thanks for coming up here with everybody today. Thanks for being here. Yeah. And next in line is my daughter Alexi, who is our Chief Heart Officer. So she's responsible for making sure that our guests get wowed, that they have an incredible experience, that they love every moment of their experience. And when they don't, she's the one who has to make sure to turn them around. Or if there's that somebody writes a review that we have to handle, or somebody's just didn't get blown away by their experience, she has to do everything in her power to make sure we turn that guest around so that they love us. And we don't only want them for that one visit, we want them for life. So we have to do everything in our power to make sure that they love every moment of their experience. And it happens sometimes that they don't, and when they don't, we have to do everything we can to recover their heart, to get them back onto our side. So she's got a gift and she's blessed with that, and that's a big part of her role in our organization. Also, she's a big cheerleader for the team as well on the other side too. And of course, Andy is a graduate of here, but he's also a very talented barber, and he's probably one of the most, I've never had our educators and our senior leaders talk about a rising star the way they talk about him and his gift and his talent as being a barber from this program. So he's got an incredible future in our organization. Yeah, that's because of you. Thank you all here. They kept talking about Culture Day, Culture Day, Culture Day, and it sounded fun and exciting, but I didn't know exactly what it meant or what it was. I got a little taste of it today. So what is Culture Day to you? Could you help us out a little bit?
Like learning what it's like in different salons or different places, or learning about different hair techniques in general sometimes.
Okay. So learning about different salons, learning about different techniques. So maybe our salon and our culture, we could contribute to that and teach you a little bit about what we're like. You want to tell them a little bit about the associate program? Because I guess that's one format of that they might be interested.
So our associate program is based on two parts. There is in salon, you're with a stylist as a co-stylist, and you're paired up with them, and you're responsible for their day. So you're responsible to keep them on time. You're responsible to greet their guests. So you are just as much responsible for those guests as the senior stylist that you're working with. They're often double booked, so sometimes you're doing blow dries for them, sometimes you're doing their toners, sometimes whatever that stylist needs. If that stylist is an extension specialist, sometimes you're helping them with the extensions. It depends on the stylist that you're paired with, but that's one side, is being paired up with a stylist and working closely with them as a stylist. And once you're licensed, you can be doing those services with them. Before being licensed, you can't really do those services. The other part is being in, I'll call it a classroom setting, where we're building on your skills. But we're not just building on your technical skills, we're also building on your business skills. How you're going to be behind the chair.
Can I get it?
Giving you tools to feel confident behind the chair so that you can go out and take guests on our salon floor. We're tiered, so we start with bronze level, and then silver level, and then we go to classic. And so everyone starts at bronze level, and you move as fast or slow through that program as you move. So if you're already networking, you can be taking your own people when you start. That's what Mondays are for. It's an evaluation of where are you technically. Do you need to be fixing your technical more and growing in that? Or do you need to be working on how to do that?
That's perfect. That's all I need. That's fine.
And growing your business side of things. So that's kind of a snapshot of what it looks like. We do focus on a cutting portion of your technical and a color portion of your technical. And then everything else in between is just growing you as an individual.
Yeah. So at any point, if you have any questions, yeah, buts, what ifs, tell me about the business. That's what we're here to do, is answer your questions. We're here for you. Yeah.
What color line do you guys use for it?
We're all Wella Salon, so we use Wella color, and we use our own hair products. So we have had our own product line since the 90s. Is that correct? Have we brought in our own product? And so our hair product line. So we have our own shampoos and conditioners. We have our own styling products. And what's really cool about that is that we get to test new products, and as stylists, we put our input in and we say yay or nay. We don't like that. We love that. So it's kind of awesome because I don't have to fight with the drugstore carrying the same products that are carried in my salon. Amazon can't get our products, so they can't purchase our products online, but through our website. So it's a really great way to stand out in an industry that we've been fighting diversion for a really long time. So it's good.
A lot of the ingredients are very clean, vegan. Some of them have CBD. Most of them are sulfate-free, except the clarifying shampoos. So a lot of the products that we have, they've worked hard to get popular by CBD and vegan, cruelty-free, sulfate-free, all the stuff that you want in your products. A lot of our stuff has it.
I know you are all trained very well on home care and what the value of that is for guests and how critical that is, and it really makes a big difference. So you're getting a lot of great training here for that, which in the industry is very valuable for a lot of reasons. One is we know that statistically that you have an 80% greater chance of keeping a guest, retaining a guest to you when they leave with a take-home product. It's a level of trust you've built with them. So you've worked that muscle really well here. I know you have conversations about it, and it's a part of the business. And it, you know, as much as people resist and say I'm not a salesperson and all that other stuff, you're not selling. You're giving them an experience, and part of the experience is this is what I recommend you use. You are their expert. You know what's best for them. So that you have that training here. I noticed a lot last time. I watched many of you walk the guests to the front. And one guest, when I was here last time, this older woman that you did, yeah, she had no hair and she wanted this bob. She was literally had 8 hairs on her head and she wanted this bob, and she might have had a walker, and she didn't look like the person you would think would leave with a basket of product by the way she walked in. She just, you know, you judge people. You just don't think that one's probably not going to be the one. But you didn't let that bother you. You shared with her what she needed at home. You gave her you told her everything. And I watched that woman walk out here with a bag full of heavy product. It was packed. She had it hooked up to her walker, and she was walking out of here. But you didn't let that conversation stop. You still shared with her, and she left with a great experience. She was so happy. She pre-booked too. Yeah, it was an extraordinary visit. So the fact that you get to work that muscle and that you are in a program that cares enough to not just give you the basics.
I love that you say that, because a lot of the times with the students, they think we're just wanting to sell. And it's great when you have like real life salons with the expectations, and you guys can see that we are making the best professionals. It's not about selling for Aveda. It's not about selling for anyone. It's about educating and building rapport. So when you hear this, it's real. So when you are telling you these things, it's not because we just want to be like, do something. It's because these are the expectations. And if you want to go successful salons, you have to have these skills. You have to have them. We all know it takes these things to be successful. Thank you for just reminding them that we're not just having them do stuff. It's an expectation in order to be successful.
Yeah, it's part of the experience. You know, people are looking for so much more to stand out, to be different. You can't just cut great hair or color great hair. You got to give people more. People expect more now. They want an experience. They want to have something they can talk about. They want to have a head, neck, and shoulder massage with the shampoo bowl that rocks their world, that makes them dizzy. They want to have a fragrance, and they want to learn about their hair and what's necessary to keep their hair looking good. They want to have an experience where they feel nurtured and loved and taken care of, so that even if you screw up their hair, they get that you love and care about them so much that they're going to come back anyway, because they felt that genuine thoughtfulness and that care for them that people don't get everywhere. It doesn't exist in many businesses anymore. People are just kind of going through the motions and don't genuinely care. And when you, and listen, I know you chose this business because there's something special about you. You have a heart. You have a way about you that you like to take care of people. You like that experience, right? Don't you? Don't you love that when you transform somebody's life with the chair and you see that they're not the same human again? That you just rock their world, that they're never going to be the same person. They're going to leave here feeling sexy and hot and pretty. And if they're 90, they still feel pretty and sexy, like they never felt before. But you did that. The way you were with them gave them a way of being that's never going to be the same. And you know, in most other businesses, besides like bars with alcohol or drugs, you're not going to get people to feel that way. This is one way you can get people to feel that way or plastic surgery. You know, you get to impact lives that way in a really special way, experientially. So it's so much more, and I know a lot of the worry and the concern is about getting it right, getting the color right, getting the haircut right. That matters. That really makes a big difference. But we've just been discovering in our own processes that we've got to spend more time on the relationship side. The technical side, everybody, you know, they're struggling through that haircut. That's all they can concentrate on. The person's trying to have a conversation with them and they can't even think straight to talk because they're just worried about the angle and worried about getting the haircut right. But then there's that relationship side that is so critical. Yeah, the haircut might turn out great, but if they didn't have that feeling with you, you know, it's like, well, I go to anybody. I'll go somewhere, you know, it doesn't matter. But what you build with them, you know, we're talking about now having a minimum for our bronze level stylists of a 50% pre-book rate, a minimum of 50%. So having them fall in love with you that very first visit is a commitment. What you really have to do, you have to get them to love you that first hour, that you've never met this complete stranger before. And you got to find a way to connect with them so that by the end of that visit, they trust you enough to make a commitment. You know, people have a hard enough time making a commitment to brush their teeth tomorrow, let alone I'm going to go see, well, maybe not brush your teeth, but a date Friday night. They don't like to commit to things. So I'll check my schedule. I didn't bring my planner. I don't know if I can make it. But to get 50% of the people that you see to say yes to you for one more visit. Because even that next visit, they're not considered retained. They're not yours. It takes like 3 or 4 before they truly say, you're mine. I've found my home. So you're still working just as hard, number 2, number 3, number 4. But you got to get it back for 2. That's how critical that is. So we are always evolving. We never have it handled or figured out. In fact, I learned a lot the last time I was here. One of the things you have that's really neat that we implemented in our salon was when somebody comes back, we used to call it a straight redo. Somebody doesn't like their hair and they come back again for a second visit, they call, say, I don't like it, it's not bright enough, it's not short enough. We'd say, well, put them in for a redo, and then we put redo on the book, which sounds like what? It sounds like we screwed up, right? Redo, we messed up. And then people don't like to see it on their book. They're like, well, everybody now knows that I screwed up. And you guys call it service guarantee. I love that, because it's more what it is. You know, you did what you did. Service guarantee. So we're learning and evolving the same way. So you have a lot of tools and a lot of little things that you're getting in your training here that matter and make a difference for you.
Yeah,
Question? Yeah.
So about shadowing at your salons, ideas for workouts, which locations are there?
Yeah, so about shadowing at the salon. So we'll definitely make sure we leave some information about that, or have you follow us on Instagram so you could just send us a message when you'd like to come. All of our salons are always open for shadowing. We'd like it better if you could let us know when you're coming, so we're ready for you. However, if that's not the case, if you happen to be in the area, you're always welcome to pop in. We have 3 locations, one in Bonita Springs, which is the closest up here, and then one in middle of Naples, Park Shore area, and then one in downtown Naples. All 3 are the same company, but they all 3 have their own vibe. So they're like brothers and sisters. You know, you got the same mom and dad, but brothers and sisters, how many of you have brother sister? They're not like you. There's a different experience in each one. They all have the same heart. They all have people who have the same love of other humans. That's how we end up with the vibe that we have, is you get a group of people together that, you know, are committed to the same thing and love to give people a great experience, including each other. You know, we have one of our team members is on her way to Tampa today. Her father is he's got leukemia, he's having a bone marrow transplant on Friday. And, you know, we're rallying around her as she's daddy's little girl, and she's going through a tough time watching her dad not be the strong man because he's in a hospital and, you know, getting treatment for a life-threatening illness. And, you know, we're surrounding her with as much love as we can, sending her off up there and the GoFundMes and whatever it's necessary so she can stay with him. He's going to have to be up in Tampa for 3 months, and she goes back and forth. Yesterday we had a woman who she was checking out in our training class, and the woman couldn't book her next appointment because she's also having cancer treatment for, what is it, throat cancer? Is it some kind of cancer? And Sarah was checking her out, whose father, and Sarah just had this tremendous amount of compassion for this woman, you know, offering her whatever she could to comfort her in knowing that this woman's going for her second round of chemo radiation in 5 years, and when it comes back, it usually comes back with a vengeance. It's a little tougher the second time. So to see her then pass that love on, because it's so much more than just hair. You know, we get to do so much more for people than just their hair. It's access to something, but you are for people that nobody else is for people. You're a way with people. You contribute to people's lives in a way. Like when I watched Sarah be who she was for that woman. Now, Sarah's got all this going on in her own head about her dad, but then she turned into this loving, kind caretaker, and Sarah wasn't even doing her hair. She was just trying to get her set up for a future visit, and who she was for her, and the experience for people, the humanity for people, and that's what we get to do. And, you know, as you talked about this morning, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, your commitment, the school's commitment, your educators' commitment to eradicate that, to care for women in a whole other way. It's a lot more than just hair. You know, there's so much to it. So anyway, I kind of get off on a rant sometimes about it. I love this business, and I'd like to hear from you, some of you. What are you hearing so far? What questions you have? What concerns? What, yeah, but, what if? Or just what have you heard so far? What's going on in your minds? Like, is it almost lunch yet? Is he finished? Is he going to let them talk? What are you hearing?
How do you guys decide which student pairs with which stylist in the associate program?
That's a good question.
Is it random?
So it's not random. It's definitely personalities. So one is, like I mentioned before, if we have an extension stylist, I'm not going to put someone who doesn't have any interest in extensions with them. But the second is personalities. So in your training time, you spend time with another associate, working with them to see where you fit. Who do you fit with?
Zach asked you to come out here.
Oh.
That's Zach, everybody, by the way. Zach's our media specialist. Say hi, Zach. Hi, Zach. He said, get her out here.
So you're paired up by personality and education. Some stylists are slower paced and some stylists are faster paced. So if you are, moseying along and chill, I can't put you with the fastest stylist because they're like, let's go, we're running behind. So it's really based on the best fit for both, if that makes sense. Yeah.
When they're not, when they are in training, if they don't have guests, what do you do with it down?
So, training is happening more of alongside the stylist, and when there is downtime, there is always stuff going on to do. So there isn't necessarily downtime. In the summer, seasonally, we're slower here, correct? So as a area, so we do kind of hype up our education, and we're a lot more intense with what I want you to be working on throughout the week, as opposed to when you're slammed. There is individual work that you have to be working on, because there may be 4 stylists that are working towards building their clientele, but this stylist is struggling on short haircuts, and this stylist is struggling on connecting with their guests. So they're having different types of things to do in their downtime, if that makes sense. So it's for me, it's very individualized, because there is a curriculum laid out, but you already have this mastered. Why would I make you continue to do that? You already do that well. Does that make sense? So I did want to touch on Shadow Day. Is that okay?
Yeah.
For Shadow Day, I just want to talk about like what its purpose is. Of course, Shadow Day is a great way to get to know us and us to get to know you. But you don't have to be interested in our company to work for to shadow. Part of what we do in our culture and why we even come to this is we can't hire all of you, but we want to lift all of you in some way in this industry, because we realize that our industry has been looked at like, oh, if you can't go to college, you could do this. And that's not how we view our industry. We view our industry as a career and a professional. So we want to guide and support you always and lift our industry. So that is why we come to schools, and it's why we want what we want to impart you. So if we don't look like maybe what you think the salon looks like for you, we invite you to come in and just hang out with us and see what it is like, instead of kind of picturing it like that's who they are. Come in and hang out with us. We want you to see our drama in the back room. We want you to see our customer service on the front end, our professionalism. We want you to see all of it. A Shadow Day gives you an opportunity to see, it's kind of like reality TV, right? But you get to be living it. What we ask of you is that you show up as a professional. You're all dressed in black today. That is our standard for our salons. So we ask that you show up in black, and we're probably going to introduce you to guests, but anybody that we don't introduce you to isn't going to know who you are, so we want you to look the part while you're within our salon, because you'll be walking around as if you are part of our salon. But that's really the point of Shadow Day. There are 3 locations. They are all different. We have each location represented today. So Lexi is part of the village, Sam and I are part of the Promenade, which is Bonita, and Andy is part of Bayfront, which is in Naples. So I would encourage you to connect with one of us, because you already will see a face if one of those locations are where you want to shadow, and then you can book that at your convenience, and we will leave that with you. But I think Shadow Day is a great way to know who we are, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we really encourage you to do that, because for me, it's important that you find a home in this industry, because salon hopping happens because you haven't found your home. So that's one way to just take and have some insight about maybe what you do want and what you don't want. Sorry, that's my spiel.
Yeah. Yes, Javier.
What is your schedule and your service that you offer at the salon schedule?
Like the salon schedule?
Yeah. You start
Like the hours.
9 to 6, like the schedule every day.
Everyone's schedule is different. Everyone's schedule is different. We are open at 2 of our locations Tuesday through Saturday, and then our village location we're open Monday through Saturday. We open typically starting at 9 a.m. Some stylists book appointments at 8 a.m. and they start at 8 a.m. Some stylists work till 8 p.m. It is, when you're an associate, your availability matters because you're on that stylist schedule. When you are a new stylist, your availability matters because you're on the client schedule. So when are you free to do hair appointments? Think about that. So most people are working, so they're free on nights and weekends. So it's really based on, we're open all of those hours, right? But it's based on individual schedules. So my personal schedule, I work Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm training every Monday. So it just depends on, so whoever's with me is working Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Make sense?
So when you're working there, you're making your own schedule, or are they booking for you?
This is a group. My appointments?
Yeah,
Like booking my appointments. So, okay, so I walk in and I am a stylist. I am responsible for networking. I'm responsible for the clients in my chair. But we have a phone answering system that does all of our booking. We have an online booking that does our booking. So I'm not responsible for my appointment book. That's really the difference between being like a booth renter, an employee, or a suite, an employee. You're all employees, which means that this is my team and my support because we work together. I'm not in my own little business. That helps. But my schedule is driven by my clients. If I don't have clients, I don't have work. Does that make sense? So when I'm working, when I notice a drop in my clients, I have to pick up evenings. Because that's when I'm going to get people that are working and they're going to pay for my services. So that is what drives your schedule. And then when you start to guide your guests, like, oh, are you available in the morning? You can then shift to places where you want them. But in the beginning, it's driven by clients.
Well, and in the beginning, you want to be open more so that you are, like, you're building. So the first couple of years, you're going to be putting in hard work until you build that book to then be like, this is my schedule. Then you can kind of make it. We don't have like parameters as far as saying you need to work next 10 years, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. As soon as you've built a solid group of people, then you can kind of alter it. Like you have people now demanding you that want to see you, so then you can then make it that way. So when you first start out, you are open because you're wanting to get whoever you can get as a guest. So, and we are also, it's super important as you go out into the salon world and finding out how different salons pay, like that's super, super important. So we are like hourly and salary and bonus based. So I think it's super important to know different ways, like booth rental or a commission, knowing all those different things. No matter where you go in the industry, it's important to know all those little things, learning it now so that when you do go out there, you're going out there now, so you're even prepared and aware of how all that works.
Another layer of that is which a lot of people don't know, is that some salons aren't aware of the fact that it's not legal to call you an employee but give you a 1099. I don't know if you know what a 1099 is, but it's an IRS document that says you're responsible for your own taxes. And some salons are classifying they call them employees, but they're not. They're giving them a 1099. They're not taking out the taxes. So at the end of the year, you go to file your taxes and you owe a ton of money because those taxes weren't taken out. And you didn't know that, you weren't educated on that. It's not legal for them to have you classify you as an employee and do that. They don't know that either. So some of them are not doing it intentionally, but it's important that you become, if you're gonna be an employee, that you are a W-2 employee where you fill out a W-4 form. There's a distinction there that's critical to know because you could get stuck with a lot of money and be in trouble with the IRS if it's not done correctly. Yeah. I'm sorry, could you say it again?
contractors
As an independent contractor, yeah, some salons will set you up that way that you are an independent contractor, you're on your own, and those are done correctly, where you might be in a suite, or you might be in a salon that's set up like this, but they just call it a chair rental, and you're an independent contractor, which means that you can dress any way you want, show up when you want, leave when you want, say what you want, have any guests you want, do it your way. They cannot dictate to you how you run your show because you're not an employee. That's a major distinction. Does that answer that question for you with that? Yeah.
Now, as far as like being an established stylist goes, how many clients would you want to see in typical various careers as a comfortable stylist, like to make sure that you still get your money to be part of this business?
Yeah. What number? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, how many of your clients, not just that, but you see a schedule.
So the question was number of guests. How many guests or number of people would you see to be comfortable, guest, or to feel like life's going to be okay? Yeah.
So there's never a number that you reach that you go, I'm done. About 10% of your clients leave every year. For a booked, consistent stylist, about 10% leave for nothing at all. They moved away.
They die?
I mean, we sometimes take a review of that.
It's
Wow,
true.
that was like,
I mean, it's reality. We see it, you know?
we look at a list of like, these people haven't been here in 6 months. Please check who your people are. Check out with them. They just not come back because they didn't make another appointment, and we kind of do a checklist. We do that once or twice a year, kind of looking at who's not coming back and why. For all stylists. But so there's not a number that you're just comfortable with. So talking about pay, it's like what pay do you want to make? What number of pay do you want to make and what makes you comfortable and how do you get there? That's the question you want to ask yourself. Because there's never a number, but there's a goal. There's like a goal in mind that you need to make to afford your bills. There's a goal in mind that you need to make to go past where you are. Okay, so if you set goals with what is the amount of money I need to make and what do I need to make that amount of money, that's where you really need to be. Because then, let's say, $40,000 a year is what you need to make to cover your bills. Is that where you want to be every year? So if you hit that number,
before you upstairs. Okay.
so the reality is that you just need to set a goal of like, what do I need to start to make, and where do I want to see myself in 5 years? When it comes to like that number, there's like 3 ways of pay. So since we're talking about it, what does your first year look like, and what do you need to make? And our industry has gone in a weird way where there's like this sweet thing that became really popular, but I never understood why students were doing that in their first year. Because you're in this one room by yourself that you have to pay rent for and you don't have anybody walking in the door for you. So it looks great because I can set my own schedule. Well, sure you can because there's nobody walking in the door. And then when you have that client that does want to see you, they want to see you at Sunday at 2 o'clock. Who set that schedule? You or them? Are you walking away from them? Or are you going in to make that money? So the suite world is literally your own business. And you need a lot of support in that first year. So I'm not against suites. I just don't think it's a new stylist spot unless you have this huge following that you've been doing hair in your kitchen for 10 years and now they're going to follow you to a salon. I mean, that's probably like the only scenario I see that works, right? Because people are knocking on your door to come see you. So then you have commission-based, booth rental, and hourly or employee-based. Commission-based, if you do nothing, you make nothing. That's literally what it is. You get paid for what you do. So if you have nothing, how are you getting something? What's the salon doing to give you something? Those are the questions you need to ask when you're looking at salons. Our culture is a little different because we want you to fit our culture. We want you to love our guests, so we pay hourly. It's team-based pay. If our guest leaves happy, everybody's getting paid. So my guest is their guest. And if I screw up, somebody's going to pick me up on the way out, that they're going to leave happy. for whatever reason they might not be happy with what a client said next to them. Definitely. That has nothing to do with anything we did, right? So I would really encourage you to interview salons of what is their plan for you as a new stylist. How do they see you getting to where you want to be so that you can find what's comfortable for you. There is no number. There is never a number. The way we work is that when I hit my number, okay, I want to charge people more. I want to make more, I want to charge people more, and I'm going to go, you know what, here Sam, take this guest so I can charge more. You love Sam. Sam worked with me for a year. You know Sam. Here's Sam. And they trust Sam. So they go to Sam, I lose nothing because now I gain. That is our ultimate goal as a salon. At our salon, we are a home, we are a family. It is a badge of honor to be with us for years. So when he talks about 1980, I'm like, that was before me. And there's some people that is them, still with us today. And it's like a badge of honor. So I am meeting my 10-year mark, and that is like, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, if I move away, that's the only way I'm going anywhere. Like, there's no other home for me. Does that make sense? So that is our, for me, that is our culture. That is where we come from. That is how we are built. Sorry, I got on the soapbox, yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of your culture, you keep saying that all three of your salons are different. So if you have the same culture, how can all your salons be different? What are you saying? Is it your clients that make your salon different? Is it your,
No, it's the team.
I mean, obviously it's your clients and your location, but what does that mean to you? Like, why is it so obvious to you that all your salons are different?
Personalities.
Same
Everyone
values.
has different personalities.
Same
with
values.
Similar training and values.
So like essentially, let's say you come from a family where, like my brother, my brother works at Bayfront. Me and my brother are totally different personalities. He's very like this, but ultimately we have the same goals. We've grown up in the same house. We are supportive in our own ways as human beings. So like the promenade might have a group of younger girls. So they're a little bit like I don't know how to describe it. They're just like a little more.
Do all your salons look the same?
No.
Okay. So
They
it's
look
also
similar.
the look.
It's kind of like describing vibe. Vibe is
They all
just
have
hard to
different-
describe. You know, it's kind of hard to articulate. And I would venture to say that probably here, every group of students has a different vibe. So together, collectively, you create a vibe. This group here. A year from now, we come back, it's going to be a different vibe.
Have you ever walked in somewhere and you're just like, you kind of know off the bat when you look around, like, this is my vibe, I fit in. It kind of is like that with us. We're all very friendly. We're all going to talk to you no matter what salon you walk into, but we all have our own little vibe, I guess. Like at Bonita, when you walk in, most of us are very young. They're either young moms or around my age. We're all very young and fun, and we like to have a lot of fun in the salon. I feel like we're not very serious behind the curtain, but once we go to our clients, we work as a team together. We're very intricated as a team.
Well, and everybody's gone through, even if we are all at different levels, everybody's gone through the same thing at one time or another. So it might have been Diana, who is like our longest employee, and she doesn't look like our longest employee. She's like beautiful. But she worked with my grandfather, which is Robert Sr., and she's amazing at haircutting. But she went through a different phase when she's gone through many phases with us. You know, it's like as human beings, we're always evolving, always growing. So it's just all a little bit different, no matter where you're. Just like different. I don't know how to describe it. Different.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear from you when you pop into different locations for us too, because you'll experience different vibes and what you experience that's different. You know, we have guests who will flip flop back and forth between locations sometimes, because some of our stylists work between two.
You know, are you like loyal to one? You know, like or you meet somebody you recommend. You know, like you would really like. I feel like you like this location, you should try so and so.
Yeah.
You do as a team work together and kind of promote, like do that with each other.
Absolutely, yeah.
We all share clients.
the phone rings to all 3 locations. So, and then there's two girls at home, and sometimes we'll help them in the salon answering the phone.
Yeah, the phones are answered off-site, so the people who answer the phones know the personalities of all 3 locations, so they're going to try to set people up the right way.
Kind of get it, like you're saying, like
Right.
I'm talking to somebody, well, you know, even based off location, what's easiest for you, and then kind of tailor it down from there. But really, and also another part of that is when, like he was saying, how I make guests happy. Well, when a guest is unhappy and they've gone through each one of the locations, it doesn't happen often. Most of the time people are like innately good humans, but there are a couple that are just not meant for our atmosphere, where they are like once you've gone through, we've tried to help you at each location and we couldn't make you happy, I don't think we're not for you. So that's the thing, a part of it that's cool too, that we can
Different vibes to fit your
yes, if one of those vibes doesn't work for you, you've tried this many people, I don't know what else I can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think our culture is very unique. Very. I've been with the company for 4 years, and I've gone through the program that they've talked about, the associate program, and I've had many mentors. Jen is just one of them. I worked at the Venetian Village location. That's the middle Naples location. And now Bonita is like my home. So I've worked at 2 of the Naples. I worked at the location that he works at. I did some of my training there. And then I did a 1.5 years at the other Naples location. And now the Bonita location is kind of my home. It's where I fit in the most. I've built a clientele there. All of the girls that I work with are all of my mentors, my supporters. And without them, I wouldn't be where I am. Like every day, I go to that back room and freak out about mixing my next bowl. And without her telling me to chill out and just mix it, go apply it, it's always fine. But sometimes I need the verbal and moral support from my team. And they keep me going. Without that, I'd be draining. Like, I'd be in the back drinking my Celsius, freaking out. So the team is what gets me through the day. We support each other. If someone has a low day, which some of us do, sometimes you wake up and it's just not a great day, we definitely pick each other up and get through that. If I was in a salon suite without people around me, I wouldn't be able to. I'm a very vocal person. I like to talk to my teammates. If I need a second look on something, I can grab 3 people. I can pick which one I want. And a lot of people will teach you different things. Some people do things a little differently. I'm sure you've learned that from some of your educators here. People can show you, other stylists can teach you other techniques that may work better for you. So in our salon, I feel like you may work with one stylist more, but the best thing is to be able to work with multiple teammates. And since we're such a big salon, a lot of the time you are thrown around with different stylists and you're learning so much individually every day. And I feel like you can never stop learning, especially when you have a team that is so different and unique in their own way. Everyone teaches you a little something. So.
I actually have a question about this location and Naples. So as far as the client base goes and the suites in this,
Right.
what do you find your like typical client base age range and style versus like another location that would be closer to Bonita, a little bit bigger location?
Like, I'm trying to.
What services?
Like,
Oh, so.
Seasonal, if you notice, like.
I mean, a lot of like, for like services, so a lot of like retouches, like highlights. So the clientele is like, the place I am in Naples is like very like older clients. So it's a lot of like, you know, like short like pixie cuts and like bobs and stuff like that too. So I was like, it's just geared towards like older clientele, like a lot of like retouches and stuff like that too.
So it's something that's a little bit more like classier, like an older
Right,
style.
in a way, yeah.
Probably more like retouches and
Yes.
opposed to fabric.
Exactly.
I feel like you also bring in your own clientele as well. You attract. So we may be in a center location, like where he's at is right by downtown Naples, 5th Avenue, all the nice restaurants. It's a great location. It's right by Tin City. It's beautiful. So a lot of the clientele is going to live in that area. They're going to shop in that area. But you also attract that. If you're doing marketing which we do a lot. We do a lot of marketing, but if you're doing your own, your clientele is what you base it off of. Your root retouches, that's your money. They come every 6 to 8 weeks, 4, even sooner than your 6 weeks sometimes. So you want those root retouches that want their hair cut every time you do their roots, that get a glaze every other time. Like, you want those clients to come back. You're looking for someone that has the roots, because you want those clients to come back consistently so you can get your pre-book, you can sell them the home products that you want to do, tell them how to maintain it. Those are your bread and butter.
Well, and like at Venetian Village, it is very, very seasonal because it's like that whole, where we're at Gulf Shore Boulevard in Naples, that whole back row, it gets packed January through March. We are like rocking and roll, and it's fun. Like, I have fun those 3 months, but the issue with that is then there's the rest of the year. So that's where it's like, as you're growing, we do all different kinds of tools. Like, we do these little princess haircuts where we offer like a $25 experience for the little princesses during the summer, and then their mom gets 50% off. Like, that's just one thing of many things that we do to help. Those are tools to help build your book, and then as you continue, every single person that's in your chair is an opportunity. And Naples is growing exponentially year-round. Like, there are so many more people, so we're trying to build our home base so that it is not just so seasonal, because the rest of the year, it sucks if that's all you're looking for is those 3 months. You know, you really need to, like she was saying, build so then you have stuff that you're counting on the rest of the year.
That's very similar to what we have the students do here. It may sometimes sound like repetitive, but when our guest count is down, we're like, hey, let's go social media, create content, here's some $20 off guest cards when you go to lunch. And those are things that you really have to do. You have to do. It's a partnership when you work with the salon, whether it's commission-based, hourly, like, it's a partnership. You still have to promote yourself and bring drive your guest count for yourself as well.
How many of you worked this past Saturday here?
All of them.
Yeah, you did like 56 guests in here? Did you do some crazy number? Like, it was busy, huh?
Yeah.
Really good. And you had pre-books?
56 guest count and like 2,500 in retail.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I have a question for Angie. I would like to know what are some of the things you've learned here in school that you find you really utilize the most now that you're not in school?
I mean, everything. Like, a lot of the things that I've learned here is just like I did take it with me, like when I left school too, and use at the salon too. And just like working and with like Roberts of Philadelphia as well, they have like this kind of the same like, you know, like culture and stuff like that Aveda represents as well. So it's like, it was a nice like transition, easy transition into cultural just because everything was so similar and stuff like that too. So it was nice.
You could probably answer that for him, right? Because she sees students from all over.
I will tell you the things that they repeat over and over and over again, and you deny, are the things that are the strongest that you need to do. And I'm going to tell you, when you leave this comfort, find somebody that's going to tell you those things. Because I do two things. I lift people up and I make them cry. And I don't make them cry because I like seeing tears. It's because I have an honest conversation. The reason you're struggling with guests is because the reason people don't want to sit in their chairs because they walk in and you don't look the part. They don't, whatever those tough conversations that you're hearing, take them to heart. Don't take them, they're not being mean. Your educators do not get paid to be mean. They get paid to educate, and part of that education is telling you what you don't want to hear. So More importantly than cutting hair and doing color is the soft business skills. And I will tell you that I just had this conversation with our associates on Monday, and some of them have seen my work, and I'm not afraid to say I'm not the best. Have I had a bleeder? Maybe once a week. Okay, I'm not perfect. And when I start rushing, I'm even worse. Okay? What I'm great at is making sure that my guest feels comfortable and happy. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at hair. It has to be good hair. But I'm not perfect. And if you lined up our senior team, we're not perfect. And we make mistakes. And at the bowl, I mean, Andy can attest, he's probably seen some of those discoveries that we still have today. But it's not about, I mean, there's great hair happening. I don't want us to make it sound like that, but we are just the same as you. We are licensed professionals. We are growing in our craft. But more importantly than our craft is that we connect with the person in our chair. And you are not selling them a product. You are not selling them a product. They are buying products. They are consumers buying products. They wash their hair. What are they washing it with? Did you educate them? Do they even know? So like those parts of the business are so much more. I mean, you can drive down 41. What number of salons is in Lee County? You just said this the other day.
2,000 between the two counties.
So Lee County and Bonner County, there's 2,000 salons. Why would anyone see you? What makes you important to them? That's what matters. It's good hair and good service. And part of service is educating. So those tools that you probably are ignoring because you're so focused on the haircut are more important than the haircut, because the haircut will come. There's a video to watch the haircut. I mean, not for nothing, there's a million videos to watch the haircut. But how are they interacting with your guests? Watch them interact with your guests, because they have that interaction too. It's their job for those guests to leave happy as well. And so how are they interacting? Watch that, emulate that. Repeat the same things they say. Like it's a script, it's okay. Until you have yours. But those skills are so much above and beyond the cutting and the color.
And something when I think of like selling a product, I like cringe. I'm like, ew. Like I'm not. When you're a really nice, like kind person, you're not good at selling. Some people that is their skill. Some of us, you hear that and you're like, no, like that just sounds icky. But what I've grown to learn as I've been evolving as, you know, teaching and being around you guys and even up the front is that so much of it is people in today's world, like there's so many people that they come to us and they just get the haircut and they leave. They come to you for your professional opinion and they want, your hands are in their hair. You are doing them a service by communicating that with them. They want to know and talk to you, like you are elevating service. And when you look at it like you're creating a way better service by talking to them and caring about them, because in today's world, there's not a lot, you know, not everybody cares about each other as much anymore. You go get your nails done and you just get your nails done and the lady's like, okay, goodbye. So like, sometimes I'm like, okay, well what can I do to get my nails like longer? And they don't care. So that's why it's like, having those conversations will change your relationships with your guests, because they're like, wow, like somebody really cared about me to tell me how I can get what I want. And you're building it into your conversations as you're doing the service. Like, okay, so here's your hair type. If you want your hair to look like this is what you need to be using. So even if they say no, and you know, sometimes that's scary, like, oh my gosh, they said no. You're still doing your same part, like consistency with every single guest that you have, and that the results will show no matter what. Even if you do hear, sometimes we're gonna have to hear no, and that's just, you'll grow to that being okay. At least you're doing your part about caring about the guest, and it'll follow, results follow.
A couple things really important to me, and why we're here, is that you winning, you being successful in this industry is very, very important to me and to our family. 80% of people that go to cosmetology school are not in the business after 5 years. 80%, 8 out of 10 are not in the business. They didn't make it. That's a sad, sad statistic to me. It really breaks my heart to see that, you know, all that passion, all that hard work, all that drive that got you here, and in 5 years not in it anymore. So it's really important to me that you win. And our team is incredibly committed to support you in any way that we can to have you win. So when you leave these doors, our salons are always there for you in whatever you may need. If it's 5 years from now and you want to shadow, or you want to come in and just talk about the business, we're there for you. It's important to me that you win and you succeed in this business, so we want to give you whatever tools we can to make sure that you win. This is a big investment in your life. Paid a lot of money, invested a lot of time, and you have the heart for it. You want this. So it's important that you get value at every interaction we have. So if you come to shadow, that you leave from that shadow day having gotten a tremendous amount of value, that you leave there with your world rocked, that, wow, some light bulb went off in your head, that you will never be the same stylist again, because the time you spent there, you learned something that shifted, you had a breakthrough. Or today, and even today, you know, we're doing a lot of the talking, but really where life gets great, where the breakthroughs happen, is when you get uncomfortable. When you get uncomfortable, when you're doing things you wouldn't ordinarily do or that scare the hell out of you. Whether that's complimenting somebody on their hair and handing them a business card, or whether that's raising your hand in here and speaking up when I call on the group. You have this thought in your head, well, that's a dumb question, or I don't really have anything good to say, or I don't want to say anything, I can't wait for lunch, whatever it is, but actually stepping beyond that today. Because it's important to me when we leave here today that you guys are talking about something that you got out of this day, something that you got out of these conversations that impacts you and makes a difference for you and makes a difference for your school. Because ultimately that makes a difference for the guests that come in here. And the guest that comes in here that gets their world rocked, and then they want to stay with you forever. You go to a salon somewhere, and they stay with you. They follow you to whatever salon you go to. You did something to rock their world that has them love you that way. And when people go out in the world after they experience you like that, they're different humans. They treat other humans better. They don't worry about road rage. If somebody cuts them off, they say, it's okay, have a great day. You needed that space more than me. It's all right, I'll get there. They just treat other humans differently when you impact them that way. And that matters to me. Just like this hour, this time we spend together, our time here today, it matters to me. So I want to hear from some of you, maybe some of you haven't said anything yet. What are you hearing in this conversation? What are going to be your takeaways from this morning? That you go home and when somebody says, what's your mother, your father, your boyfriend, girlfriend, child, whoever it is in your life, they say, what'd you do this morning? What'd you get out of that this morning? I don't know. There's some people, this bald guy up there talking about stuff. I don't know what he's talking about. But what are you leaving here with that's going to make a difference for you? Or maybe we haven't gotten to you yet. Maybe that hasn't hit you yet. We still got to do our work. But so far, what are you hearing? What's the conversation you have? What are your takeaways from this? Yeah.
How crucial it is to have a care for people. It's not just doing hair. It's
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
I think the shadowing idea is amazing because I know that I've had a lot of friends that have gone through hair school and they have quit because they couldn't find a salon that they didn't like the cattiness or the whatever it was, you know, they couldn't find it. And I think the shadowing is a great idea before you decide like where you want to work. I mean, obviously everyone's like, oh, like, you know, Supercuts versus, you know, your salon, but you know, maybe
It's a place for everybody.
It's a place for everyone, you know what I mean? And so I think it's really important to kind of like go out there and volunteer your time and ask to shadow because you know, you never know like what salon fits you or not. So I think that's a really
great
good idea for everyone.
At any point in your career here too, you don't have to wait till the end. You can do it at the beginning. You know, we have some that started shadowing with us and they never left. They just kept coming back shadowing. So finally we said we better put them on the payroll.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
That it's okay and safe to not know everything.
Yeah.
The opportunity outside of school to grow yourself as an individual, as a stylist. There's always opportunity for
Yeah. Especially this industry. It's just never ending. You're just always going to be learning, growing, always. Very good. What else? Takeaways. Yeah, but what about this? Yeah.
I just want to say, hearing you guys talk about the passion that you have for the industry and your clients and the work you do makes me feel the same butterflies and confidence on the first day of intro class when I, first came in and everything looked shiny and new, and so it just ignites that fire. So
Awesome.
It's just a nice reminder that
Yeah.
that works for
Yeah. That's awesome. It's all worth, this work is all worth it. Yeah.
I'm going to speak by myself for me. And my English, as you hear, is not so good, but if you think, gosh, get my attention, my full attention for 2 hours, just speaking is good. You make a great job sharing with us. Because that kind of, I'm not a quiet person. I'm more like action person. But if you all this presentation, you became in action, like I want to go to because I know more people, I'm more like action person.
Yeah.
But you pass me for 2 hours without thinking of else to learn.
Yeah. Awesome. It's an honor.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. It's an honor for us. Yeah. No, it's absolutely an honor. I tell you, there's this story that I love to tell all the time. You're from Cuba.
Yeah.
So one of our senior leaders in our salons is also from Cuba, and she came to this country, and of course, the licenses didn't transfer, so I think she was a stylist and an engineer in Cuba, neither of which translated. So she got her license to do hair here. We were not hiring at the time, and she showed up at the salon and said, I want to work here. And she said, just like you, she said, my English is not very good. She said that several times up front. But she showed up in black and said, I want to shadow, I want to work here, I want to do whatever it takes. I said, I'm sorry, I was a little more stubborn. I learned a lot over time. She taught me a lot. She said, I really want to work here. So again, we told her we're not hiring right now. By the way, now we're always hiring. If there's a great person that wants to come in. Yeah, this is 15 years ago. So she kept showing up. And one time I went to that location, the village location, and she was in the back room folding towels, all in black, folding towels, sweeping the floor, emptying she was working harder than the people that I pay who work there. I said, why is she here? They said, I don't know. She just keeps showing up. She just keeps coming in. And they loved having her there because she's doing their job. She was just hustling. She really wanted to work there. And this went on, and I watched her for a while, and then went back a week later, and she's still showing up. She just really wanted to be there. This went on for a while, and finally I said, we got to put you on the payroll here because you're a hustler. You're doing. I almost lost one of the greatest employees we have. Like a real gem of somebody who's so hardworking and so committed and so wanted to be a part of our culture. So there's that work ethic in Cuba that I don't know where it comes from, but you probably got some of that yourself. I heard about you. But since then, it opened my mind up to that. If people want to be a part of our culture, we'll find a place for them. People have that heart and that desire that they want to lift others up and that they work so well together. You asked the question, well, what do people do in their downtime? Well, that's where we measure true value. What's the true value? Because there are times where there's no guests in the salon or there's 2 guests in the salon. Well, what are the people doing that are providing value? Value could be, I see that Jen's busy, I'm an associate, I see that she's busy, I see that she hasn't eaten lunch yet, and I prep her lunch, and I say, Jen, your guest is gone, now go in there and eat. I'm gonna sweep up the hair in your station, get your station ready for the next one. I pulled your color down for your next client, I'll take care of that client for you. That's not in the manual to do that, but that's serving another human.
I've literally done that for her multiple times.
Right, and that's how that is, working for each other in a way that's not in the book. It's adding value to each other. It's giving each other, showing up for your colleague just as well as you'd show up for a guest. It's treating your colleague that same way. So, you know, Dilma is her name. I'd love for you to meet her sometime because she's a special soul. Yeah.
I actually want to say that it's refreshing to hear the story of people who taking accountability toward saying that you were a little bit stubborn when it came to that situation, because I was going to ask you guys how much you guys value diversity within your staff and your clientele. Because one thing I like about this school is that we have a lot of diversity within the clientele, and it teaches us a lot about different hair textures and all that stuff. So I just wanted to
Yeah. I think we represent like quite a few different countries, probably, you know, 15 or 20 different countries.
And actually, Dilma's sisters work with us now too.
Yeah, actually, she got her sisters through Nicaragua, or through Nicaragua. She got her sisters out of Cuba and into our country, and now they both work. In fact, two Thanksgivings ago, I was so thrilled because her sister was finally out of Cuba, and she was so thrilled to have her sister in the country. And it was Thanksgiving, and I said, well, why don't I have you to the house and we'll celebrate Thanksgiving. I really want to celebrate the freedom of your sister. We had them for dinner. And I'll never forget having this conversation with her after she came from Cuba, how she said, she got to the United States and she was detained. She came here legally, but they detain you initially until they figure out all your paperwork. And she was in a form of a prison in the United States. But she said, in that United States detention center, while she waited to get out to get her papers, she was more free than she had ever been in her whole life in Cuba. The freedom she experienced in those confined walls of the United States gave her more freedom than she ever experienced in her life. She was so happy to be here. So we celebrated her freedom, and her son, she brought her son. We had a swimming pool in the back, and he had never seen a swimming pool, like literally. The swimming pool was the greatest thing to him. We had this massive feast for dinner and
He was playing
celebrated.
with my kids. He didn't even speak English, and it was just really beautiful to watch. He didn't speak English, and my kids, they became best friends, and they didn't speak the whole time. But you could still, like, you can feel what somebody's saying. Like, they could just be, they were playing. Like, they were having the best time. And he had never seen, it was like, it was beautiful. I was like, she was crying. He had never seen a swimming pool before, and it was very...
Couldn't get him out of the pool. He didn't want turkey. He wanted to be in the pool. You will find a lot of different, we have all kinds. We have plenty of diversity. And we just love people. You know, I don't care what kind of, I just love human beings. That's what we're just all about, you know, making human beings have a great day and love, you know. That's what's so cool about this business. You get to do what you love to do every day. When you wake up and you go to work, it's not like, I got to go sit at, be a bank teller or sit at an office desk and push papers and look at a computer screen. You get to interact, you get to change lives every single hour. You get to transform another life. You get an applause like you'll never get in your life every hour. And you look forward to that. That's what's so cool about this business. You know, you don't just do time. You literally get to change lives every single day. When you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to get there. You look and see what you have on your book. You have this transformation. So I'm a big champion for it, and I really appreciate the opportunity to get to come be with you guys. Thank you guys for being such tremendous hosts for us. You guys are really awesome to open your doors like that to us and just not even tell us what you want us to do, just give us the floor. So that's a gift. I certainly appreciate that. And I appreciate the blessing of Andy. That guy's he's another gemstone, and I appreciate what you.
He's number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
A very good student.
Yeah.
If he would let us put makeup on him. He was here. Very, very good student. And thank you guys for coming. It's very refreshing to know that we are doing the right thing, and that what is expected and the passion that you guys have. Like, if you don't have that passion, like if you don't wake up and feel like I get to make people feel great for the things I do for them, then it's okay, but this may not be a career for you. It might just be a hobby. And that's all right too, right? But
Sure.
that is what's going to separate you from this being a hobby or a career, the passion. Passion of servicing others at a high level.
It's hard work.
You are there. I feel so happy for you. Yeah.
Very proud
Thank you.
from us as an instructor, because let me tell you, you have a perfect guy. All right?
Yeah.
He never complained. He always
Just went with it.
yes.
Yeah.
And continue like that, Andy. Still
Yeah.
Thank you.
learning, because in this industry, we never ending learning. Always learn. And this is part of education. You can ask. You make me very happy to do that.
Thank you.
How many of you got something you think of value this morning? Got some value out of us being here, this conversation? Raise your hand. I mean, if not, it's okay. You don't have to raise your hand just because I said. We got more work to do on you, if not. How many of you think you might come down and visit for a shadow day? Just get a sense of people who might do that. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Great. Good. How they do that?
I would,
Yeah, so at ROP Salons, we'll leave a paper that has ROP Salons is what we're, either on TikTok or
I think there's also something you can fill out on the website, but it would be easier to
message us on either
It'll go
Insta
to
or,
me or Carissa or somebody. It'll come back to me,
Yeah.
and then I can direct you to.
Yeah, Instagram or phone calls.
yeah, or her TikToks. She's got some fun TikToks too to fun.
I try to keep up with the social media, but I would say like my teammates and my grandma are like my
ROP, like Robert of Philadelphia.
grandma's always commenting how great it is.
ROP SALONS.
That's also our website. ROP.
It's all the socials and the web, where you can just message and say, hey, I'm coming down, or I'd like to come down. Yeah.
Is this the main one for all your locations?
Yeah, that's the central one. They're all three on that. Yeah.
I might have some cards.
Anybody else want to share a takeaway? What are you going to go home and tell somebody tonight?
You got one in the back.
What's that? Okay, good. All right, good. I love that. That's good. So is that a hand?
Yes, I love the passion that you guys bring to our school. This is the second time I've gotten a chance to talk to you guys, and the passion and the lovely career that you guys have built in client days has really, to go off of what you said, it brought us back to intro when we had the class and we were so excited. You guys talking today, you can completely remember cosmetology school. This is something I've dreamed for since I was in elementary school. And there's still moments where that imposter syndrome comes in. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really doing this. Like, I'm doing the steps, I'm getting good results, but it feels like there's something in the back of my mind like this is not up to par. And just hearing all of you guys talk, hearing all of you guys talk is really made me excited to get out of here, to start working, building my own connections, and being a student as a stylist.
Mm.
Learning more as I get out of here.
Yeah.
It does the same thing for us. Like every single time I leave a school, I'm always like, oh my God, yay. Like you get so excited about, it brings you back to your foundation of why you're doing it. So I love that we get to come to schools, and we've gone to so many different schools, and you guys really are not knocking any other school. Everybody has what they're good at and but I really love the foundation that you guys get here, and great educators, like things that really actually matter in your career, lifelong, you're learning here. So, and the whole energy. Sam was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this every week. Like,
Yeah, I loved your meeting. I was like, this is awesome. I want to do this. It was inspiring. I totally loved it. As soon as we walked in, I told them, I was like, this is so beautiful. And you guys all just, I mean, yeah, it's early, but you looked like you were in it. And celebrating each other, always about being everyone's cheerleader. And it just comes with time, consistency. Every day is a challenge. It's not easy. And then getting to the point where it is, it's hard work. So it takes a lot of hard work, and being put in those uncomfortable situations. Like, now is your time to do the uncomfortableness, because when you are a stylist behind the chair, you have to have those uncomfortable conversations. And the more you do it, the more comfortable it gets. And the more you have that little voice in your head telling you those things, it goes away. You have people around you supporting you, and with time, it just becomes muscle memory. You don't even think about it anymore, it just happens. So it's just time. Now is the time to practice and get it all, get it in your head in repetition, because it just gets easier with time.
How old are you, Sam?
23.
Okay. Who else? Who else going to step out of the comfort zone and talk in front of this whole group and say what their takeaway is? I love your glasses. Yeah. Did you get anything out of today?
Just like she said,
Mm.
you guys seem really enjoy doing characters.
Awesome. Yes.
I thought
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool how thank you. I thought it was really cool how you guys still continue to teach after school. So as they're growing as a salon, working with people. I like the shadow program. Working with other stylists and learning from them and learning wherever you're at. I also like that you guys don't. I'm not saying my technique sucks. Everybody has something to work on, but I like that you guys care also about the customer service part of the things, because that's a really big part, and that's a really big thing for me at least. So.
Yeah. Some of you may love blonding and not love cutting or finishing, but you love blonding, or the other way around. You love cutting, but not blonding. And in our company, you're rewarded for retaining a guest in the business. So if you get a guest who wants a pixie cut, and pixie cut's not your thing, but it's your thing, I'll take care of the blonding, or I'll take care of the root retouch, and I'm going to send you over here. She's a specialist. She's better. I don't get penalized for that. Doesn't hurt my paycheck. It actually helps because we kept the guest in the family, and I didn't have to struggle through something I can't stand doing anyway. I get to do what I love, and instead of having to be all things to all people, because we're not. Everybody has their own area that they're better in. Maybe you can do it all, but you have areas that you're more passionate about. So that enhances the guest experience, because they're getting the best. It's like you wouldn't want a podiatrist doing your heart surgery. Guy who works on feet, you don't want him going near your heart. It's a specialty. You'll have that, and you'll find that somebody asked the question, how do you get paired up with people? You may want to work with a blonding specialist or a cutting specialist or somebody who's in your range. So, yeah. Several. So we're not just locked into one, because we have several stylists that do them. So there's not only one. They each can work on most of them.
The girls that we work with, or that I work with that do extensions, they have specific ones that they like over other brands, but typically they'll have a consultation. They'll talk about what they want out of extensions, if it's for length, weight, volume, whatever you're putting it in for. They'll have a consultation on that, and then sometimes when they order the extensions, they have to color them. So usually they order them lighter. So the brand might be different depending on if the clients had extensions in the past and did not like a certain brand. They probably won't rebuy those, but it's different every time. I think they like Donna Bella, Dream Catchers, and there was another one that they used.
What was the one we did the training on?
We did a training class on Dream Catchers, so we like their hair, and I think that's what they used on your client, where you do the color and they do the extensions. So it's different all the time, but based off the consultation, some extensions come softer, or they have better texture, or more density, or it's like the band on it that's different. So it's different with whatever consultation they have. But I've seen all kinds of brands come in the salon. But a lot of us are certified off of Dream Catchers.
Yes.
Is there any services you guys don't have? Like, do you guys offer like braids? Like, if you have someone who knows how to braid, do you guys do that there?
Braids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
We don't
here.
offer nails. We don't wax.
We just do
We
it.
do hair. But
Color
we do,
cuts.
we don't perm.
If somebody wanted to,
Let's be real, we don't
we
perm.
would.
If
There's
you know
just
how to.
nobody
There are
that
some,
knows.
there are
couple that will.
stylists that know how. We just don't have the call for it. So if someone wants a perm, it can be put on my book for sure, but I have to go make sure that we actually have perm in stock.
Not all of us love to do
Like-
updos.
Yeah, so
Not
we
all of
do
us
all
do that.
services in hair. But newer stylists get qualified in each one and certified in the sense of like, is this a chargeable service? Can you charge what we charge for this service? If not, then you're not certified in that, and you wouldn't take that service. Does that make
Can I
sense?
also add something with our service guarantee? All of our services are 100% guaranteed. So as a stylist doing hair, when I was freshly on the floor, that can be very scary. All of my clients have 100% guarantee that if they leave and they don't love it tomorrow, tonight, couple days, they can come back and our service guarantee will redo it completely to whatever they want. If they want another inch taken off, if it's too long, it's not counted against me in any way. She can come in, it's no problem. We would rather her come in. For services, like the product that she takes home with her, if she goes home and uses a shampoo and she thought she liked it and now she doesn't, she can use half the bottle and bring it back to us. Our guarantee is 100% just to make sure that our clients are happy with what they go home with. They want to feel good and look good in their hair. Everything is guaranteed with us when we do it. So, do you want to add anything to that part? I just wanted to make sure that's such a big thing as a stylist, because when I started, so scared that I was going to mess someone up. Like, that is terrifying to get out there and start. But having my boss tell me to do it and that it's 100% guaranteed, like, it's fine if her highlights aren't lifted enough or it's too brassy. She can come in and get a toner. It is no problem. And being able to talk your way through that, like, hey, I would prefer, like, if you don't love this, sometimes you can tell when you're done doing a client that they don't love it. Tell them that. If you go home and you don't love it tonight, give me a call tomorrow and we'll get this fixed for you. We can redo your toner, we can cut another inch off, but reassuring them that we can always fix it. We can always work around it.
Yeah, most people don't believe that, because in this day and age, most guarantees are worthless. You buy something from somewhere and they tell you, oh, it's guaranteed, just bring it back. Then you go back and you're terrified in line because you're thinking of what's your reason going to be to bring it back. You got to give them a good excuse. You got to have the receipt. It's got to be within 29 days. And then they're still going to question you about it. And, what if you just don't like it? Well, you got to make something up. Or how many of you have gone to dinner somewhere and spent a lot of money and it was just okay? What did you do? Somebody a couple days ago, we were at the other school, they said, oh, I tell them I didn't like it. Well, that's not the majority. Most people just do what?
Go home later.
They go home, complain about it, and never go back. They don't tell them about it. Because, well, they're met with, oh, well, sorry about that. Maybe we'll do better next time. There's nothing really done about it. We're incredibly committed to, like, having this person for life. We want to be their second home. We want that to be that's the only place they go. So it might cost a little up front, but educating people that it's okay, wherever you go and whatever your career is, that, like, I want you for life. I don't just want this one visit for $200 or $300. We've given people their money back and said, we're not going to take your money until you're happy. Come back for, I don't know, the last Yelp review that somebody left. People think they got to go to Yelp to get what they want. They don't. They could call us. But some people don't believe that, so they go to Yelp or they go to the Google review or whatever it is, and then we got to go clean it up and say, listen, please, time. Oh, you got to go.
That's my job.
Okay.